critical, and we need to do it early at source. This is the door-to-door collection system in San Francisco. One container for recyclables, one for compostables, one for the residuals. And in Italy, they have more elegant systems. They have systems in Campania, for example, where the same trucks pick up a different material on different days. So on Mondays, they pick up the organics. On Tuesday, they pick up the multi-materials. On Wednesday, the paper. Thursday, the residual fraction, and Friday again the organics, and then Saturday the multi-materials. That was save the money when they put that in, and the mayor reduced the taxes, made it very popular. Composting, in my view, is more important than recycling. This is because the compost is, the organics is what really ruins landfills, makes them so politically unacceptable. This is the composting facility for San Francisco. It's surrounded by farmland. The farmers use the compost to grow fruit and vegetables and wine and send it back to San Francisco. Recycling, we need a materials recovery facility. Here's the gigantic facility on Pier 96 in San Francisco. You know, state-of-the-art separation with machines and people and everything else. And here's the formula. The cities should be exporting their organics to the rural areas, to composting plants, ideally co-composting with farmers and their waste, and the rural areas should be gathering up the recyclables and sending them to the cities where you have the transport hubs, you have the employment possibility, you have the economy of scale. Reuse, repair, and deconstruction. Now, the reusable items, there's a big difference between reusable items and recyclable materials. Recyclables are high volume, low value. Reusable items are low volume, high value. In fact, in Los Angeles, the reusable items are only 2% of the total, but over a third of the value in their total waste stream. So there's jobs here and small businesses here. For example, Urban Aura in Berkeley, collecting furniture, appliances, lumber and bricks from old buildings, deconstruction, and selling these back to the public. And the public like these facilities. Here's a big warehouse. It's like a second-hand shopping mall. And in it, there are the people going away with the furniture, appliances, clothing, you name it, it's there. It's just a huge emporium of second-hand stuff. And then if you want a toilet bowl, there's plenty of those. And if you want a door, there's plenty of doors. And this has been running for 30 years. It's grossing $3 million a year, and there's 27 well-paid full-time jobs. Some of those workers have been working with Dan Knapp, who's here, for over 20 years. All these things are on video, by the way. You can see my videos at AmericanHealthStudies.org, examples of reuse and repair from California, from Vermont, from Nova Scotia, and Australia. Some very good examples there. I think you'll be impressed. Reuse in London. London is investing over $10 million. I had to change that term. Forget this. It's $10 million. Forget the pounds. Developing 9 reuse and repair centres scattered throughout London. This was last year. And it was opened by Boris, and this, you probably recognise this film star. They're very glitzy. And some of these buildings are renovated old buildings, and some of them are purposely built new buildings for this reuse and repair. It's a wonderful idea. These reuse and repair centres can be a way of reinventing the village in the big city, because it's people like to go to these things. They're going to meet other people. It fights the anonymity of living in a big city to have a place like this to go to. So what can be achieved with those first 5 steps? You know, we've got 5 more to come, but those first 5 steps. San Francisco, population 850,000, very little space, have to educate people in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Chinese. And they diverted 50% by 2000, which was the state requirement. And then by 2004, they're up to 63%, 70% in 2008, 72, 75, and now they're up to 77% waste diverted, and their goal for 2020 is 0 waste or darn close. So that's San Francisco, a very good example. Now, I'm not suggesting for one moment that America is good on waste management. Overall, we're terrible. We have too much space. But I can also tell you that as far as the environment is concerned, all the best things happen first in California. So you can expect these models to spread throughout the United States eventually. In Italy, the most unexpected place perhaps, over 200 communities are achieving over 70% diversion from landfill and incinerators, and some very quickly. For example, in Novara, which is a city of 100,000, 70% diversion in just 18 months. Nobody would have believed that several years ago. This is, again, an example of how things are changing. And then in Salerno. Now, Salerno's in the south. It's a stone's throw from Naples. And by the way, I've been to Naples 10 times. It's the most depressing bloody place in the world. But there's a new mayor, and the politicians have never listened to me, and I've just got an invitation to go there in October to talk to a big conference in Naples. The invitation came from the mayor of Naples. And the vice mayor was actually one of the zero waste activists. So things are dramatically, I think, going to change dramatically in Naples. But anyway, they went from 18% to 72% in 1 year in Salerno. And in Belgium, half the country, the Flemish-speaking part, is up to 75% diversion in the whole country. And they're very creative. They're doing everything I've ever thought of. They're even giving people chickens. Chickens, that would interest you, Jeff. He's got chickens. What you do with a chicken in a high-rise building, I don't know. But, anyway, I mean, the idea is they cluck around and eat everything that you can't think of what else to do. Okay. So here we go then. We've got the composting, we've got the recycling, we've got the reuse, the repair, and deconstruction. But yes, we still have to worry about that residual fraction. So we're going to do a few things before we hit it head on. And the first thing we're going to do is waste reduction initiatives. And I'll just give you some examples of some of the things that are happening around the world. Ireland, not again perceived as being very environmentally conscious, but the government put a 15-cent tax on plastic shopping bags. And to everybody's utter amazement, in 1 year, they reduced the use of those bags by 92%. That's unbelievable. And also put 12 million euros into their recycling fund for the people who continue to buy them. In Oxford and in many other places around the world, they have in-time collection of food from supermarkets. Before the due date on those foodstuffs, teams of volunteers go in, collect the food, and distribute it to homeless people, homeless shelters, or what have you. And it's very sensible. It's a win-win situation. Instead of the supermarkets having to pay for waste disposal, they get this food to people that need it. And that's in Oxford, the group is called Replenish. So we're not just talking about saving materials here, we're talking about saving people with jobs, and in this case food. In Italy, several supermarket chains allow you to refill your bottle of shampoo and detergent, which makes sense because they're heavy-duty plastic, and they can go around again and again and again. Here in Capanari, in Tuscany, the people can get the milk straight from the farm in these refrigerated dispensing systems using your own bottle. And this wonderful food store, which opened just 2 years ago in Tuscany, Efficorta, 60 taps for liquids, detergents, shampoos, beer, water, honey, olive oil, and wine. There's the wine with 8 taps with strings going back, telling you where the wine comes from. You get a glass and you try the first one, you try the second one. They had to drag me out of that place. It was just wonderful, nirvana. And 60 dispensing systems for solids, so they don't have any packaging in the store. You have to provide your own. Every product comes within 70 or 90%, 95% comes within 70 kilometers. And if you don't have a shopping bag, they can sell you one made of jute or cotton, but not plastic. And talking about plastic, here's school children with jugs and glasses, stainless steel, china. Do you remember the stuff we played? China? Remember? China? Just glass, stainless steel. Only the rich can eat off plastic. This is fantastic. Imagine a government that had the testicular fortitude to insist that every institution, whether it was a school, whether it was a college, whether it was a hospital, whatever it was, must use reusable containers, and then give grants. Give grants to introduce washing machines, and so instead of paying waste companies to take plastic, you're paying people to do washing up. Again, recovering people, creating jobs. and cost the average American family about $2,000 to put